Sego, Scano, thank you,
Sego,
Noah, for
yeah.
coming and hanging out with us for a couple minutes.
Yeah.
One of the purposes of Seeing Red is to amplify Indigenous voices. And your voice is reigning strong, and we want to learn from the experiences of those that have carved the path before us. So I'm just glad that you took a second to come and hang out with us. Appreciate it.
I wouldn't miss it for the world.
So
Yeah.
one of the first things that I want to ask is, why you feel it's important that Indigenous voices are heard and represented and shared.
I think just as important is that Indigenous voices speak, and speak to the question that you ask is, why do we need to amplify our presence in the world? Mainly because our youngsters, essentially that, essentially it's the fact that as a young person needs to know that he and his people are represented in the world and not forgotten, like I think society has tried to forget us. We're not a great topic for American mythology, So we have been sort of buried in the history of the development of this country, and we have played a huge part in it. And our youngsters need to know that. And I mainly say that because, as a youngster, I remember feeling that empty feeling of, what about me? How do I fit into this world when I'm surrounded by students of non-Indian color? And it's a lonely feeling, and it's kind of a disgusting kind of a feeling and it's a scary feeling whenever the topic of Native Americans or American Indians or even a particular nation or tribe is discussed in a educational situation, and it just sort of hits you. You know that they're going to ask you, what tribe are you from, and do you speak your own language, and that kind of thing. It just, and it takes you aback because all of this other time you were just totally forgotten, right? Well, I think that representation on media is a great driving force to improve that idea for youngsters about our presence as different nations, as individuals, as people who have sustained our own tribal lives, And so that's, I think, a very important part of sustaining our identity amongst the people of this nation.
It was funny, I just met Susan Aglukar, and she was one of the first women that I saw singing on TV, and I remember that feeling of seeing a Native woman being like, wow, she can do it. I could do it, that feeling.
I only had Jay Silverheels. He's from this part of the country. But he was the only one until much later in life when the late Will Sampson came along and Chief Dan George. And they lit up the, screens of, wow, hey, that guy looks Indian, it was not like looking at Tony Curtis play Native, or something. Yeah, it was a great awakening in terms of, wow, maybe it is possible, And I think that the more of our youngsters who, like Amber here, are coming up into the world of media and representing us, our peoples, if you will, it's, I think, an improvement in terms of our own self-concept, for one, and identity. Makes a big difference.
So what would be, your words of wisdom to the upcoming actors and Indigenous talent following your path? What's your advice?
Don't follow my path. My path is already done. You know, I mean, I've followed my path, and nah, don't follow my path. Create your own is what I think you should do, and there'll just like there will never be another Will Sampson or Chief Dan George or Jay Silverheels. There's no need to have another West Studi. You can have West Studi types, though. I like that. You know, once you get to the point of being a type.
I like that.
Yeah.
Create your
Not
own.
bad.
Be your own voice, you know? So if there was a message you would want the world to hear from West Studi.
I would simply say enjoy life. Enjoy life and find what it is you want to do. Don't work. Live is what I say. Live your life. Don't have to work. Live. That's what I would say.
Beautiful.
Good enough?
Beautiful. Amazing. Thank you so much.